One, two, three. You're live.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to my channel, Handmade by Ying with Donna. Tonight, I have a special guest with me, Beth of Gude, and everybody give her a good welcome. That would be fabulous. I always start with giving you the date, so if we ever have to go back into the videos, we've got that time stamp. So today is June the 6th, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So I would like to also say welcome to all of my moderators. I appreciate each and every one of you for showing up tonight. It means everything to me that you guys are going to handle the chat. If I haven't personally told you, thank you and welcome to my channel. Please know that I will go back through and welcome each one of you in a minute. But for right now, I want to hop right in. I've got Beth with me for about an hour, and then we're going to piggyback with a secondary video after that, because we've got some exciting news for our life and our channel. So I want to go ahead and hit that tonight as well before we close down our studio. So with that being said, that's a little teaser. We'll leave right in with you. So let me see. I've already welcomed everybody. Y'all just sit back, relax, and enjoy. It's going to be a lot of fun tonight. So Beth, can you give me a little bit of background about you for those that's in the chat that may not know you? Like, I don't need to know like your physical address and stuff, but just give me an overview. I'm Eastern time zone in case y'all don't know. That way you can timestamp me, because some people, we don't know if you're Eastern or Central or Mountain. So I always try to remember to say Eastern.
Well, my name is Beth, Beth Gude. I'm 25 and I've got 3 little kiddos. I live in the Midwest, right in the heart of America in Kansas. I love it out here, and I've been sewing for about 3 or 4 years. I got a sewing machine from my husband, and I just like started and never stopped. I've just been going and going and going. So I really enjoy quilting. And I did want to say thank you for having me on tonight and wanting to interview me, because it's going to be a lot of fun.
It is. And I'm so excited for you. I've watched some of your older videos because that's where I pull some of my questions too. But, I'm just going to hit some of, I'll just do a real quick bounce around, and then I'll go to some of the questions, because I always have people email me special questions for my guests. So it kind of keeps it interesting. Let me see. I want to make sure I've got them lined up right, because I don't want to mess up when I'm doing How long have you been? You said about 3 years, but what piqued your interest to start quilting?
Well, my grandmother was a quilter growing up, and she made me quilts, and I loved them. I used them every single night for years. And so we had, dogs too, and using it all the time. It wore down. And I kept saying to my husband, man, I wish I could learn how to repair these quilts, because I love them so much. And I don't want to fold them up and like forget about them. I want to keep using them. And so he, for Christmas, surprised me. He went with his mom and his dad, and they helped him go pick out like a good sewing machine for me, because his mom quilts, and it was a complete surprise. It was like the most thoughtful gift. And I joke now, I'm like, you didn't know what you were getting yourself into, did you? Because since then, I have just been going, and I love it. And I feel like it's grown into something so much bigger than any of us thought it would. So
absolutely.
Yeah.
So you started a little bit before the pandemic then.
Yeah.
So did you start like just like dining room sewing, or did you already have a designated spot?
Well, we were in an apartment at the time, and it was like a very small apartment. And so I just set up shop right at our kitchen table, and I had underneath the table a big bin full of fabric or scraps from projects, and I would save everything. I never threw anything away. And it just started growing and growing and growing. And I was like, what? Wow, where are we going to eat now? Like, there's nowhere to eat because I've taken over the kitchen table. So that was my first space. And so now that we moved into a house, and so I'm set up into our basement, and I'm really appreciative of the space I have, but I'm also used to being very particular about how I use space because I didn't used to have a lot of it. So I
Right.
tried every nook and cranny that I can.
I saw your studio tour and it gave
Yeah.
me some more ideas, you know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? Because I think when we share our
Yeah.
little spaces, because we are confined, some of us, and then some of us have glorious spaces,
Yeah.
you know, and there are dream studios. But
Yeah.
for me, you know, I'm like you, I started out on a table and have
Grown out of there.
a lot
It happened
quicker.
fast.
I
Yeah.
didn't think I would. Let me see. What age did you like start to get an interest in sewing?
Well, in like middle school in FACS class, we did some home ec projects like sewing pajama pants, and I think there was an apron and small stuff like that. And honestly, I didn't really enjoy it. Like I didn't enjoy sewing at that time in my life. And then when I started, it was just kind of a nice thing to have outside of being a mom. Like it was some identity that I could have outside of constantly serving my children and serving, like being in the family. So it's kind of nice to just have something small to myself. And it's also so good to just feel like I'm creating things all the time. You're making something with your own hands. So
Right.
I think I was about 22 when I started like really getting into it. So yeah.
That's cool though. I really like that. I'm like you. I sewed one time in home ec just to get the grade and never
Yeah,
went back. So
exactly.
it's like 30 some years later. And I'm like,
Yeah.
"Oh, this is cool. You know, I wish I'd have did it years ago."
Yeah.
Do you have any certain people, circumstances, or anything that enticed you to go into quilting, or did you just start like with the mending of your other quilts and then it just blew up?
Pretty much then that was like the primary influence to get started, but I really did look up to my grandmother. She did a lot of hand sewing. I can't hand sew, so I haven't even tried that route. And my mother-in-law, she's actually a quilter. So I had seen all the stuff that she was making. She was making a lot of memory shirts out of her dad's old shirts for family members. And I was like, wow, that's really cool. So I feel like I've always been surrounded by at least one person that was quilting, and I always appreciated it even before I knew all the time and the skill and the love and the thought that goes into them. So I think that's always been there, but I have been like surrounded by some amazing women that I'm like, man, that would be cool. That would be
Very
really
empowering, isn't it?
Yeah.
To have
Yeah.
that. Let me see. Do you have an idea how many quilts and any specific one that you really like doing?
Oh,
I
man.
know, right?
Oh man. I would have to say that my favorite type of quilts to make, I love making kid quilts. They're just so fun. And I feel like young kids, they're so passionate about like movies or characters or like a theme. So it's really fun to just go all out on a kid's quilt and see their reaction. I think those are my favorite. And they're a little bit smaller. I do not like making king size quilts. Like they are not fun to me. I feel like anything over like a throw, like a decent sized throw, I'm out, or I'm upset while I'm sewing because it's just so much more work.
Oh, absolute. I agree. I've learned because you'll start out smaller and then you keep building it.
Yep.
I get it. Let me see. What other crafts do you practice?
Well, I recently started crocheting and I wanted to learn crochet so that I could do amigurumi. So I feel like outside of quilting, that's like the only craft that I do. I only have so much time to do hobbies and stuff outside of being with the family and trying to be present there. But I really do enjoy crochet, and amigurumi is so much fun. If
Is
you've
that
ever,
what you were doing where you
yeah,
made the bee?
it's so much fun. You should try
That
it.
to me, look, I could. I love you. I'm one that'll sit back and do something else. Yeah, I crocheted like a chain stitch probably 30 years ago, and
You
it's still
do it.
wrapped with the rest of it. That's as far as I ever got. But I had the heart to throw it away because my grandma showed me the chain stitch.
Oh, wow.
So I've just kept it.
That's special.
Yeah. Do you have like a normal time of day or a season of life, you know what I'm saying, that you prefer to quilt in?
Definitely nighttime. Once the kids are asleep and the house is quiet and I'm able to kind of slip down into the basement unnoticed, that's the best time, because if I try to do it during the day, they're running around and I'm distracted and I tend to make more mistakes, so I don't get enough done. So I really like the peace and quiet of sewing at night all by myself.
I've seen you live more at night, and then I
Yeah.
catch you on the replay in the morning.
Yeah.
That's why that one, I put that one in there. I just think it's neat. Do you find quilting is like therapeutic, that like it's your niche, it's your thing?
Yes.
Because as wives and mothers, you know, we lose ourselves being servants.
Yeah.
So
I
it
feel
gives
like,
us something.
yeah, it's something to like recognize myself, because like you said, you kind of lose who you were. You're constantly changing and you're constantly worried about everybody else. So it's kind of nice to be selfish with the time that I have and do what I want to do. And kind of have something all to myself. I don't have to share. I share by giving quilts out, but yeah, it's a great time.
Do you belong to like a quilt guild or a club? I don't know what you call them out there.
No, I have seen a few in the area that I'd be interested in, but a lot of the meeting times they just don't
Good
work
time.
with my schedule. So maybe once the kids are in school and they're a little bit older and more independent, then maybe I would love to join one, but it just doesn't work for my schedule now.
Oh, absolutely. Let me see. Do you know others who quilt like in your community or like your church parish or anything that you could plug into for like mentorship? You've pretty well got a good base.
I think so. I've just been really leaning on my mother-in-law if I ever have questions. It's actually kind of turned tables, because I've been able to teach her now things like, because she does a lot of hand sewing as well, teaching her how to bind on the machine and machine quilt, because she did everything by hand. So I think it's pretty cool that she taught me, and now I'm at the point where I can kind of give back and show her some things that she doesn't know, and she's using those skills. So
That's awesome.
yeah, it's been really fun.
One of the questions that was sent in is, why do you quilt, and what does quilting give to you personally?
I quilt because it's fun. I love the fabric, and I just love having the sense of I made something. Like, I made that. I am so proud of that. I don't think there's any other feeling, or feeling that compares to that. There's gardeners, there's people who like to cook. There's my thing's quilting. I love it. And I also like that I have an ability to give to people. Like if there's a birthday or an anniversary, like I can put thought into a quilt and make it personalized for someone. And that's the best feeling, seeing people's reactions. So I really like having the ability to give something special to people.
It's a lot better than going to the store, isn't it?
Exactly. Yeah.
Fabric shop versus Walmart or
Yeah.
I like that too. I look ahead in my calendar for like the special events.
Yeah.
And I start planning a couple months ahead so I can make sure I get it done.
Yeah.
Where was this? How much time would you say in a week do you spend doing what you want for you?
Oh man.
I
Well,
know, right? That's one that was sent in for you. Because as you're a young mom with little ones,
yeah,
and you have to do self-care for you too.
exactly. Man, that's a hard one. I feel like in a way, quilting is kind of self-care.
I think so.
I don't really get my nails done or get my hair done or none of that. I just go to the fabric store. So
That would be me.
exactly. That's my therapy. But yeah, it's not a lot of time. The kids go to sleep around 7:30, 8. And then sometimes I stay up to like 2 a.m. just sewing, because I start and I get excited to make progress and keep going. And by the time I look at the clock, I'm like, wow, I need to be in bed.
Yeah, you'll be grumpy in the morning.
Exactly.
Do you have a special kind of quilts that you like to make? I know you said about the kid
Yeah.
wear, but that I think's what you're meaning about.
Yeah, I like making kid quilts, and I've also gotten a lot of commissioned like t-shirt quilts and memory quilts. I think that's a really special thing to do, a way to give someone who's grieving a lost one, you know, give them something back that they can like touch and it's tangible, and they can look at the quilt and be like, I remember when she wore this shirt, she used to wear this one all the time. And it's also pretty cool because I feel like I get to learn about the person who I'm like making the clothes out of. Like I have learned so much about some amazing people that have passed because people trusted me enough to use their clothes and make a quilt. And I think
I
that
remember the first time someone asked me to make like a memory pillow, and then it was, I graduated from the memory pillows to the memory quilts. And they tell you the story as you're marking down their shirts. Well, this was Papa's favorite, or this, you know what I'm saying? And you write them little notes. So when you're doing your little bill at the end, if it's not, you know what I'm saying, you can write a real special message. So that's just what I do. Let me see. Have you ever had a quilt that you were doing that just drove you batty? That you just was like, oh my gosh, why did I pick this? Or why did I do this?
Oh man, I think we've all had those type of quilts before. And the funny thing is they come out of nowhere. I feel like no matter how many quilts you do, there's always that time, or maybe it's the wrong time of day, the wrong pattern, whatever. It just throws you for a loop and you're like, wait, I thought I knew how to do this. But yeah, I feel like the ones that I've struggled with are traditional pieced lately. I started traditional piecing and I hopped into FPP. And so sometimes when I'm switching back to traditional piecing, I kind of have to relearn.
Like foreign for a minute.
Yeah, I'm like, I have to brush up on my skills and keep practicing because I don't have the line written down on where to sew. So I have to actually be paying attention a little bit more. So yeah, that's been a struggle lately, but we'll get there.
Oh, that would be me. I envy anybody that can FPP. I've tried. I can do the basic, but I've ordered a Judy Niemeyer. So someday I just wanted that quilt. You know what I'm saying? Exactly. And someday I will level up to where I can open the package and maybe get to where I can cut it out.
Those are so intimidatingly beautiful. Like I understand what you're saying.
I jumped in on a whim because it was beautiful. You know, I love the pattern. And then I was like, oh, now what do I do?
Which one did you get? Which one did you get?
Tell me if you don't think this is just, I couldn't pass it up.
Oh, yes. Okay, yes.
Someday I will cut it out.
I love the purple.
That's what I loved. My sister's favorite color is purple and mine's blue. And there's only a few months between us in a calendar year. So it was like, that would be a good blender for both of us.
Yeah.
And so now it's just going to sit there until I get the nerve up to open the package and do it. So that's going to be a big project.
You can do it.
Someday I'll be doing wee little bits. Let me see. Do you have a favorite fabric or fabric designer that you gravitate to?
Well, I'm still learning like the designer fabrics. For the first few years, I was only buying fabric from Joann because I love using coupons. So
I'm the
recently
50% off girl.
I know, and the curbside pickup, like, come on, that's amazing. But I really do enjoy Gingerbread. She was the first designer outside of Joann that I saw the Dwell in Possibilities line with the moths and the metallic. And I was like, that is gorgeous. And so I've been following her fabric since that line. And I absolutely love her attention to detail and her style. And she's also a mom. Like she started designing fabric because she had a nursery and she didn't like any of the art that was around her. So she started making it herself. And so
how cool is that?
Putting it in fabric. And so I like that I can kind of relate to that as well. But I love her work. I love Tula. I love Allison Glass. I pretty much, if I look at something and I like it, I'll just pick it up. I'm really bad at always knowing the name of things and stuff like that. But Gingerbread was the first, so I had to mention her.
Oh, absolutely. So let me see. Do you have a certain colors that you gravitate to?
Purples, you don't notice it until you look at your stash, right? Like you are just in like a habit of like grabbing for purples or whatever color that you gravitate towards. And then you open up your stash and you're like, wait, I don't have any orange or yellow or brown in here. But yeah, I would say purples and greens are what I like to go for. Nice, cool tones.
Yeah, absolutely. I used to be like all earth tones, and I'm
Oh,
finding that now as I'm evolving,
yeah.
I'm reaching out of my zone, but I'm loving the way they're turning out.
And it's hard for me to see things smaller. Like it's hard for me to visualize sometimes what that color is going to bring to a quilt. But when I see other people making things with every color in the rainbow, I'm like, okay, come on, Beth, get out of that comfort zone. So I need to start doing that as well.
Yeah, I'm amazed at how Courtney, she can take something and turn it in something that I would be like, I'll put this in my scrap bin and it's going to stay there for years. And then I look at her throw something together and I'm like, wow,
Yeah,
she's got a vision.
it does. It takes a vision. It definitely does.
The next question is, where do you get your fabrics predominantly? And you said Joann's.
Joanne and a local quilt shop that just opened up a few months prior, Casey Maker Studio. I love going there. And then I try to support my friend Kelly. She has a shop and it's called Steel City Quilt Co. So those are the three places that I'll buy fabric from.
We've got two questions highlighted. One is, what is the difference between FPP and EPP? That's one of them.
So EPP is English paper piecing, and that is all done by hand. You have little templates that you glue your paper onto, and then you baste it on, like you do a basting stitch on the underneath, and then you hand stitch all of it like this.
Is that like the hexies?
Yes, the hexies, that's a huge part. This is FPP. So you can see on the back, you have blocks right here and you follow the lines, but this is all machine stitched. And then you piece the blocks together and bam, there's your block. So like I said, can't do hand stitching. Otherwise, I would love to try English paper piecing sometime. So that's why I do FPP.
Yeah, I'd be sticking myself. And then one of the other questions is, do you have a long arm?
I do not have a long arm. I do have, it's kind of like a mid frame. It's a hoop frame. It's actually, I can show you. Let's see if I can do
Take us
it.
on a tour.
Here is my Cutie Frame. So this is basically an at-home long arm. It can go up to a pretty large size quilt. I'm still practicing on it, but I have a Juki on here. And what you do is you're moving the machine on these like little wheels on this track. And so you're moving your machine over your project and not your project underneath your machine. So that's my long arm, but I don't have like an official long arm. We don't have any space.
Cool.
Yeah, that's a really
like
great
that.
alternative, and it's more affordable too if anyone's interested.
Right.
So.
That's one way of doing it. Where do you get your patterns?
Oh, everywhere. I
have a set place.
I will check Etsy a lot because I'm active on Instagram and I follow a lot of pattern designers. So whenever they post something, they usually have either like a Payhip or an Etsy. So I'll check that out. If I can avoid Etsy, I will, because of all the fees and everything they impose on the owners of the shop. But Etsy just has a ton of PDF patterns. So I like the PDF.
Oh, absolutely. Do you ever sell your work, or is it strictly commission when you do something?
It's a little bit of both. So I get a lot of custom quilt orders and stuff, but when I don't do that, I just do free sewing and I'll gift things, but usually it's custom works if I'm doing commissions.
Oh, absolutely. Have you ever had to alter a pattern? And if so, how?
I did. My husband's Meemaw wanted me to make, and it's the only king size quilt I've made and probably the last one I'll ever do, but you never say no to Meemaw. I was like, of course I'll do a king size quilt for you. And I used a pattern called, it was from Quilt Fox, and it was a really pretty cross. And I had to alter it to get it to the size that it needed to be. And so what I did was I just made the biggest version of the pattern, put some borders around it, and then did some really cool log cabin cornerstones. So I kind of just like built out and then tried to have some kind of thing that was cool to look at on the outside of the main.
That sounds neat. That one there, is that the log cabin cross?
Yes. Yes.
See, that takes some talent too. My log cabin quilt, Stephanie Stitches will tell you, that was a treat. I don't know how in the world she didn't send it back to me. I was so proud of that, sent it to her. And she did amazing with it. Have you ever created your own pattern?
Yes, I recently took a class learning how to write FPP patterns, because I eventually do want to get into that once time allows and everything. And so it was really cool to take that class, and I learned how to take a picture and make a pattern from it. So I have a Clifford pattern that I was making for my son because he loves Clifford. And then other than that, I haven't really done any traditional quilt patterns. It's just a lot of words. I'm bad with words. I'm bad with like technology and figuring out how to put a table together. So, but maybe one day, maybe one day.
I'm good at writing it down in my words that I know what I'm saying, but then when you're trying to type it up, because I just did my first pattern and it all looked good. I ran it through the testing and stuff. And then my tester was like, this should be 2 here, 2 here. And I was like, what? But in my mind, I wrote 2, but I didn't. So it goes to show someone's asking a question and I don't want to get anybody upset. Oh, where is it? Tracy FPP. Okay, so thank you guys for answering. If I don't catch it, I'm trying to. That way, my husband normally pins on his side. That way I know to catch it real quick. You do gift your quilts. If you ever sell your quilts, you said you're more commission if you do.
Yeah.
Okay, now you're going to like this. Now we're going to go over to the content creator role.
Woo!
Okay, what piqued your interest to become a content creator?
Wow. Well, I guess Instagram was the first platform that I went on to. I originally went on to Instagram because I wanted a way to digitally scrapbook all of the quilts that I've been making, because we know we make a lot of quilts and you forget about them. And especially with having a business and like commission quilts, you kind of want to have a portfolio put together where you can show people, well, I've done this and I've done this, and they kind of get an idea of what you're about and what you can do. So I started on Instagram for that purpose, and it just got bigger and bigger and bigger. And I was kind of putting myself into the quilting community. I was making connections with people, like real friendships with people, and learning from people and helping people. And I was like, you know what? Maybe I could make a YouTube channel and kind of reach out even more and see if, how big is this community? Because I know I watched a lot of YouTube. I watched Melanie Ham, Donna Jordan. So Becca, Yvette Renee was who I watched religiously when I was learning how to do FPP. And I was like, you know what? Maybe I could have a channel of my own. And so it just turned into an idea, and it was random. It wasn't planned until it was. I was like, I'm going to make a channel. I told Austin, I said, you know what? I think I'm going to start a YouTube channel. And he didn't question me. He didn't doubt me. He did everything that he could to support me in this new adventure. And here we are. I made a channel. I do a lot of quilt rambling. Part of it is I joke and say, I've annoyed everybody else in my life with talking about quilting 24/7. So it's nice to come on here and talk to a camera and actually get that message and that conversation started with people who also like to talk about quilting 24/7. You know what I mean? And to be part of that community is just, it's been magical. I am so happy that I took the leap, See,
that's how I am. It's mind blowing because you don't realize, like when you first start and you're watching your select few in your mind, that's all that's out there. And then you start branching.
Yeah. It's a
Who was your first Donna Jordan?
I watched a lot of Melanie Ham. When I first started quilting, I watched Melanie Ham every single video. So rest in peace. I was so sad to see her pass away, but
Right.
she's one of
I was devastated when I saw that, and then I watched the video of her service, and I was bawling on my end.
same. Yeah, it was a very sad. I have like goosebumps talking about it because she, I think, instilled that belief that there's like pure joy. Like she just was so joyful and happy. And I was like, you know what? That is what quilting is for me. Like
Yep.
it can get to the point where you're not focusing on being a precision piecer and everything has to be perfect. You can just have fun with it and be proud of what you
What I
make.
think she instilled in all of us.
Yeah. So that she
That's
was
one good legacy, I'm telling you.
exactly. Yeah.
She was my first, and then I grew from there. So that's neat that we have that connection. What are your roles of like in your content creation? It's you do it all, or does your husband help, or do you do it all?
I pretty much do it all. He does all of the tech stuff. So whenever I have questions, he was the one that found Restream when I was trying to figure out how to go live on several platforms. Originally, I wanted to find something that I could go live on YouTube and live on Instagram on, so I could kind of like merge those two worlds, because what I've realized is that not everyone on Instagram uses YouTube and not everyone on YouTube uses Instagram. So I was like, this would be great if we could just merge these two worlds together and kind of extend the community even bigger.
Right.
And so that's how Restream came about. He did all of the research and he's done all the tech stuff. So he helps in that way. And then I do the filming, the quilting, the editing, and the uploading and everything. So, but he takes care of the kids and really makes it a possible thing for me to do. So
How
he's
cool is that?
so helpful. Yeah, he's amazing.
Now with Restream, do you get a lot of lagging where you're at?
Yeah, lately I have been, but I will say our Wi-Fi is not the best. And I sew at night. So my husband likes to play Xbox upstairs before he goes to bed. So it's like sometimes we're competing for the Wi-Fi.
Right.
I think that's really what it is, and not necessarily the Restream.
Yeah, I didn't know if it's a Restream thing because we tried it in the beginning.
Yeah.
And we've got really high speed internet, and
Oh,
it would
nice.
lag, and I was like,
What's going on? That's
yeah,
so
we didn't
weird.
understand it, so we may
Yeah.
circle back to that, but we were like, no, we got to find something else. So we went with Zoom instead.
I like it. It's nice.
You're gonna like this. Describe your daily routine as a content creator, just the typical day in operating your business, from like how do you plan
Oh, wow.
to scheduling.
That's a big
I
one.
know.
I kind of like to fly by the seat of my pants. I have been trying to be more consistent in my content creation. I sew every day, but I don't make the content every day. It's very hard for me sometimes to remind myself, hey, stop right now, get the camera out and record what you're doing. So I don't really have like a set schedule in that regard. But for just quilting, it's just nighttime. And if I get an idea or I have a commission or a quilt, I'll just start with, okay, what do I think will look good? And then I go with it. And then for content creation, scheduling, basically like what I do is just film during the weekends and then upload it. I try to upload it by Sunday, and then it takes like 2 or 3 hours to edit because I take forever. It's because I'm
I do mine in front. My husband does all the behind the scenes. I don't fool with any of it. So he better live for a long time. Let me see. We did your daily routine. If you had to describe your experience as a content creator? Yeah.
How would I describe it?
Because
Well,
there's always goody and there's bad. I'm
Yeah.
learning that. I used to look at everything rose-colored glasses.
And I guess this is a great time to be a little bit vulnerable and saying like what it's truly been. So when I started, like I said, it was just an idea, and I didn't think ahead of like, you know, any repercussions or any fears. I just jumped right in. That's what I tend to do with things. And for the first few weeks, I was just having a blast. I was like, this is amazing. I'm having so much fun. I'm going to my quilt shop and I'm taking videos. And I didn't have any issues with insecurities or doubt or imposter syndrome. But recently, especially, I have just like the bad part of content creating is you see these amazing content creators, other people putting tutorials out. They're well-spoken, they're organized, they're efficient. And you think of yourself and you're like, wait, I am not operating at that level. And so the insecurities and the imposter syndrome and the doubt and the fear kick in. And you're like, man, maybe I should just cold delete my whole YouTube and walk away.
No, you're amazing.
And so that's what I've been dealing with. I took a little breather. I think a lot of it too stemmed from everything that was happening with my mom. It was just like a huge shock in my life. And then I came back home and I was almost hit with like, wow, I was doing a lot of stuff before I left. I had quilting going on. I was trying to keep my YouTube consistent. I was active on Instagram. And so it's a responsibility to be consistent because I do want people to see me showing up day and day and day. And like, I don't know. I think the bad part of it is just sometimes you get very anxious and you get in your head about things. And then the good part is you make some amazing friends who genuinely support you and believe in you and encourage you. And that's what keeps you going. That's what reassures you like, okay, there is a space for me. There are people who believe in me and I'm going to keep going and I'm going to have fun.
I know I'm one of them. My granddaughter and I, we just love watching you. She goes,
Aw.
she's almost as big as me. And she's as big as a minute. You've seen her.
Yeah.
She really gets a kick out of you. She thought for the longest time you were 10 too.
All the time. People are like, you look like you're 12. So
yeah, it was just so cute. She thought she was watching someone her age and I had to bust her bubble and tell her you were married with 3 children. She goes, what? So I was like, but I think we do get into our own heads. And I'm my worst critic by far. So
yeah. And especially when you go through with editing and stuff, I like every time I mess up talking, I do like in my video recording, I'm like, blah, blah, blah. And then it's like when I edit, I know where to stop. But outside of that, you're like, wow, come on. You just critique yourself the whole time. So I'm going to try and just be a little bit more graceful with myself. And
you are doing fine. You don't even see it. Just in the time that I've watched you, it's like watching a flower bloom. You're doing great.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you.
You are. I'm the newbie on the block. Trust me, you're doing great.
We can be newbies together.
Absolutely. Someone asked in the chat, I think they missed it, how old you are.
I am 25. I'll be 26 at the end of the year.
So we got that one answered. I will circle back to all the questions in the chat, but I got one more and then we'll hit the chat. What has been the biggest challenge you faced on your YouTube journey? How has it made you grow? And how do you feel about being the content creator that you want to be? What's your vision? I know that's a mouthful.
Yeah. So to answer the first portion of it, I just want to continue to grow and get better. When I jumped into it, I said, I'm only going to continue as long as I enjoy it. If it turns into something that, is taking over and is becoming stressful and it's sucking the joy out of what I'm doing, then I'll have to step back. So my goal is just to keep being me and keep having fun and quilting. And my vision for that would just be to keep going and see where this goes. I don't expect that I'm going to be YouTube famous or anything, but I do really think that I can continue to make amazing bonds with people because I hang out with kids all day. I hang out with my kids all day and my husband. And so it's really nice to kind of have that outside, like, wow, I have people that I can talk to about what they're making and what they're sewing and what they're learning. And we can kind of bounce off of each other. So my vision is just to make a lot of friends, I guess. I want to have
kind of how I'm like that. I can't believe the magnitude of friends that we've in just a few months, It's amazing. I don't know if you've ever checked out Sylvia Back. Have you checked her out yet?
Not
Yeah,
yet.
it's You and Me FPP. You'll have to check her out.
Yes.
She's all the way in the UK.
Oh,
I believe
wow.
she's gonna do her first live tomorrow. She's in the chat tonight.
That would be awesome.
And, she was on my Zoom when I was doing the rope bowls. You can check her out there.
awesome. Yes,
And she's phenomenal.
I would love that.
She had this great big old, she was working on hexes, and I was like, what are you doing? And she was showing us, talked us through it, and I'm like, I'm in awe of this girl, because that is just way above my skill level ever. So let me go back into the chat real quick, because I know I missed some questions they had for you. So let me see. Everybody's saying hello.
Hi.
Everyone, we both said hello, and I'm sorry I'm not going to name everybody, or that would be rude if I didn't. Yeah, let me do that. I don't want to miss anybody. Kevin Marr, I'm just looking real quick. I don't want to miss anybody. Terry, hello. All my mods, thank you guys for being here. Cindy Goody, hello everyone. Hit the thumbs up. Thank you, Terry. Hyatt Kim. If you like the content that we all create, please hit the thumbs up. It means everything to us. If you haven't subscribed, or you think you did, please check. Something's going on with a lot of us. And whatever it is, I don't know if it's a YouTube glitch or what, but it's unsubscribing people. So you're gonna want to go look and see if you're subscribed. Just double check. And if you're not, please do. And if somehow you got unsubscribed, hit that again, because it means everything to all of us. So check that with all of your content creators that you're watching. Practically Creative, hello ladies.
Hi.
Stay in school. Yes, the So Powerful movement, that has been amazing. So if you don't know about that, hop back over to my videos. That was really fun. I did 2, and I was going to do 2 more this week, but that's going to be on the back burner for a week. Kelly Cruz is in craft. Hello, my quilting friends. I can hang out for a while. Dinner is leftovers before hubby goes to soccer practice. Sounds like a good evening. Let me see. The links are being dropped for us both.
Yay.
Let me see. Hello, Kathy. Welcome. Let me see. Kelly Cruz, Kim. Well, that's awesome. I'm just trying to get down. Kelly Cruz. Teresa Louise. Thank you for dropping her. Nancy Gus. Hello, sweetheart. Welcome to the chats. Kelly Cruz. I bought new shorts and 4 nice t-shirts today. I'll save them for our September cruise. That'll work. Together we say hello, Stephanie. Welcome, honey. Cindy Goody. Hello, Beth. Sam, hi, Beth. Is she family?
No, I don't think so, but you share the name. That's awesome.
Can't beat that. Nancy Gus. Hello, Colleen. Good morning, ladies. That's Janet Johnson.
Hey,
So you can
Janet.
tell we're all over the place.
Out in Australia.
Yeah, I love that. Kim's in. Let me see. Kelly Cruz is in. The Mob Squad. Yes, we've got the good Mob Squad. I love you guys. Hey, Beth from Memoirs of a Long Arm Quilter. Stephanie,
Hi,
you're
Stephanie.
amazing. Let me see tonight's guest. They dropped your link. Stephanie Stitch's links dropped. Hello, Steph. Memoirs. Sassy Steph's what I need to call her so I don't get them confused. Everybody's telling each other hello. I want to make sure I'm hitting the questions, ladies. I'm trying to speed read, so if I miss someone.
It's hard to keep up with the chat.
Yes,
That's like
and
the hardest
I
part.
try to say, if you got any questions, add them at the end. That way I don't have to piggyback, but I didn't say that, so this is on me. I missed the first part of your live. I need to make Dave. That has to be for Melissa. She's making these, I'm calling them pin cushions, Melissa. I know I'm saying it wrong, but it's a Dutch hound, and they're just too
Oh.
stinking cute. So if you're not on Melissa's Practically Creative, check
I
that out.
Oh yeah, I love
That
her
is
stuff.
adorable. Hi, Brandy. Welcome, honey. Let me see. First class, that's how young Beth is. Back in the old days, we called it home. Let me see. Everybody's saying hello. I'm just trying to skim through, guys. If you have a question, if somebody sees it and I'm missing it, please highlight it. Hello, Stephanie. I'm new to your channel name. Let's see. I know there was other questions for you here. I am with you, Beth. Row size is much easier. That's from Kelly Cruz.
Yes.
Someone wanted to know how long.
Yeah, I've already asked that. I finally got to my cut up video. I need to do that too. I've lost track of my day. Delia, Stephanie, work leftovers, Kelly Quilts, they're dropping links. PSA, yes, quilting in the country. Okay, Goody Goods, Beth, you have a long arm, and you've already answered that. She has a cutie frame right now. Someone answered. Thank you, Melissa. Quilting in the country, welcome, sweetie. I'm trying to speed read, so if I missed something, I'm sorry. Mary, I figured I'd answer now since it might be a bit. Absolutely. You all know how I roll. I do the questions and then piggyback. I feared it might not get answered. No, we'll always answer you. It just might take me a hot minute. Tracy, is that the same thing, EPP and FPP? I think you
Yeah,
covered that. Foundation paper piecing, the fabric is applied to the paper. EPP, it's applied. Ooh, that's a mouthful. Let me see. This morning, let me see, Sylvia back. They've dropped her link, so if you don't have it, we'll make sure you get that.
Thank you.
She is amazing. You won't be disappointed. Very talented lady. She looks so much younger than she actually is. That's from Tracy.
Oh, thank you, Tracy. That was very sweet.
Or sometimes I put up misinformation to taunt the other mods. No, you don't, Colleen. You just crack me up. I don't know. This is the first time I've seen her. What is the imposter syndrome? Mary Beth, she's in her mid-20s. Yes. Beth, you are amazing. That's from Sassy Stephanie.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Coming up lives. Let me see. Diane Short, sorry I missed. We're all still here. If anyone has any questions, I'm now down to it. So you guys, hello, Christine would like to know when Beth. Oh, okay, that's a good idea. I didn't see that. I'm supposed to ask you, have you done a cutie video?
I have not done a cutie video on YouTube. I did go live on Instagram a few times and I played around with it, but I would like to learn a little bit more. If I do any videos with the cutie on YouTube, it's going to be the process of me learning how to do things and practicing. It's not going to be like, I know everything about this. So don't expect perfection with me and the cutie. I have a lot of work to do, but it's a lot of fun. I would love to do a video and showing it and showing how I use it and everything. That'd be fun.
Oh, that would be a cool idea. So I'm going to slip back to the questions. I got you a couple more minutes. What kind of sewing machines do you have?
Right now I sew on the Singer Quantum Stylist, my little baby right here. I absolutely love it. I started on a Brother machine. That was the first one that my husband bought me. I loved it. There's things about the Brother systems and the Singer systems that I like. If I could take a little bit of both and mesh it into like that one sewing machine, I would. But that's what I use for my piecing and everything. And then I have the Juki TL 2000 QI. I think there's a QI. I use that on my Cutie Frame because it's a little bit longer. The throat spade is a little higher. So
What's the throat space on it?
oh man, I mean, it's got to be
tough questions, right?
No, that's a hard one. Should we go measure it? I think it's
No.
about 4 or 5, maybe 6 inches, maybe. It is a lot higher than my Singer.
That gives you,
Yeah, so I can get some things underneath it if I have to.
now on a cutie, are you rolling it to run it through?
Um,
Bar with it, or is it just,
it's technically it's considered a hoop frame. So you're putting your quilt, it's already basted. You can spray baste it and then you put it on top of the bars, and then you have these plastic clamps that you use and you clip it onto the bar, the quilt, and then clip it onto the side, and then you have clamps on the other side. And then you roll the excess up and bungee cord it to those clamps. I do want to recommend a channel if you guys are interested in the Cutie Frame and you're interested in watching videos using it and all that stuff. There is a YouTube channel called The Closet Quilter, and she has a cutie in her closet that she uses, and she is very good at it. She has amazing tips, amazing suggestions. So if you're interested in seeing videos with the cutie, I would go check out her page. Give her some love.
okay, let me see here. Austin. Is that your hubby in the chat?
Oh, hi, Austin. I can't see the chat.
Oh, it's
Yeah, that's
okay.
my husband.
There's this cute little man in there and he's got a question for you. Are you flirting with our guest? Welcome, Austin. You can come down with her. We don't mind. Will you and Courtney be doing more lives together?
Yes, I
Everybody
actually.
misses you guys.
Yes, we were actually messaging today and we were saying we need to go live again. So hopefully maybe this week. She's been doing a lot of family stuff, but yeah, it's been a long time. It's been a while.
Absolutely. There's been several of them. That's a big question. I think they really like that.
Yeah.
Someone's asking Austin about, is he ready to play Pokemon? That must be his thing. Kelly Cruz, he is very supportive, and I don't think any of us without our spouses being supportive, we couldn't do what we do.
Oh yeah, he is terrific.
Absolutely. Let me see here. That's it in the chat. So I'll come back here. Got you a couple more minutes. What kind of strategies and mindset do you feel are required to be a content creator as a whole?
Let's say, I would say the strategy would be to just have fun with it, to not put a lot of unrealistic expectations on yourself. You can definitely have goals and you can have these crazy ideas that you want to accomplish, but you also sometimes have to reel it in and be like, okay, what can I realistically do right now with the time that I have? Because I would love to make a lot of videos, but they take a lot of time. And so I really do appreciate a lot of the content creators that put that time in and make tutorial videos and, all of that. One day I'll get there, but just giving yourself grace, that's the biggest thing.
That's my takeaway on that one too, because I know what it takes on my end.
Yeah.
In a week, what we're putting in, and I'm just like,
yeah,
it's a lot.
It's overwhelming sometimes.
It is, because like we have our schedules figured out, but now school's going to be out, so things are going to shift for a few months,
Yeah.
How do you stay motivated as a working your business from home? Do you ever get to where it's like, I don't want to do this today?
I would say last year it was a lot harder. I had probably 20 or 30 commissioned quilts throughout the year, and I was pregnant and I was like, let's get it done. Let's go, let's go, let's go. So sometimes it is overwhelming. And the best way to avoid that is, and this is very hard for me, is to say no sometimes, or I can, but in a few months. So I always say yes to everything. And I feel like that puts me in a pickle sometimes. And it does take some of the joy out, because I'm like, okay, deadline, deadline, deadline. And so I've had to get better about setting boundaries and saying, no, I can't make this Christmas quilt 2 weeks before Christmas, or I can't,
Right.
Stuff like that, where it is reasonable for me to say no.
Right. See,
but-
I think we all get like that. If they ask, yeah, we want to do it. You know what I'm saying? Because we don't want to say no.
Exactly.
With our plates full, it's like, do I want to add one more thing this week, you know?
Yeah.
Let me see. Stephanie, she says she can't wait to tell her family her guilty street name, Sassy Steph. We all love you, girl. Let me see. Do you have one big challenge that you've faced, like since
For you,
started being a YouTuber?
definitely the insecurity that was out of nowhere. And then I would say being consistent. For a while, I was doing a really good job of making sure my uploads were like on Sundays and stuff like that. But life happens. You and I have both had some crazy things happening. And so sometimes, as much as I want to be consistent, I have to be okay. Like, I'm a human. I have kids, I have family, I have roles outside of this. So again, giving yourself grace and saying, it's okay if you don't upload this video today or you haven't recorded in a week. You'll get there, you know, there's time.
That I'm like you. I had to learn because like when we first planned ours, like we're going to do this, we're going to do this. This is our goal for this month. This is next month, you know, and we had our milestones and then life happened and it's like, it takes the wind out of you.
Really does. And it's always when you least expect it. The most craziest things, the things that drain, like they're so draining, and you have to be present in there. You have to be fully there. You can't be thinking about this, and that. So then when you return to it, you're like, oh my goodness, I have so much to do. So it is overwhelming. You're like, wow, how long have I been gone? Yeah.
Honestly, when I was at the hospital, you can only get so beat down, and we were there for 21 days. So my notepad, I literally started, if I think of something, I'd be like, oh, this would be cute, or I can try this in 6 months or in, you know,
one day.
Yeah, someday.
As sculptors, we're really good at that though, right? Like we practice that because we're like, I'm going to buy 100 patterns and I'm going to say, I'll make that one. I'm going to make that one. I need to make that one. We're really good at having all these ideas and stuff. So it's hard to kind of, okay, let's be realistic. I can do this now, but I'm going to do all of those in the future.
Right. I at the quilt show, I'm just,
that was amazing.
Thank you.
Good.
I'm not one to go sit and cry, but I was blown out of the water. Totally unexpected. I was overwhelmed.
It was beautiful. It's beautiful. You did an amazing job. Congratulations.
I did that on my mid-arm and it took me several weeks.
Oh my God.
I literally, that's where I learned about the marking pins.
Yeah.
And I didn't know the red was going to keep coming back.
Yeah, with the cold washing or whatever. Yeah.
Oh, it didn't even get washed. The building it hung in out here at the fairground where this was hosted. The building was cool at night. So a couple spots on it, just where I drew my lines. I was like, when we picked it up, I'm like, oh my God, I hope the judges didn't see that. But thank goodness it was way up at the top where they couldn't have seen it.
Yeah.
But I didn't realize how big it was till it was hanging there. And I'm like, you don't realize it was 98 inches by 108.
Wow.
Yeah.
And you did that on a mid-arm?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
It beat me up. I'll never, ever, ever do. No.
It's a workout. Like here.
My back hurt and everything, but you know, I didn't say it was the mid-arm. It was just like I would do a section and refold and do a section and refold. You know what I'm saying? But I told my husband, I said, that's one of the ones I'm most proud of.
You should.
But I never expected that to win. I thought my lucky, as luck would have it. I honestly, if anything was gonna, I just figured I'd get like maybe an honorable mention or something for that because they were packed with quilts.
Well, that pattern is really, really cool. I think it's something that people don't see that often. So I'm sure they were just like, bam, that's a cool.
It was in their face. It was just like, because there was a little bit of like Jean Truelove was doing this in her head. So she threw it out. And one day she was teaching Dresden. So I was like, well, I'll buy a Dresden ruler and I'll learn this, you know, and then she told us how to do that. So that was the beginning of it. And then she started all these blocks that went on forever.
Yeah.
So I was like, do the block and pin it up. And then it was over a year and a half making this.
Wow.
So then I was on Mom and Pop Quilt Shop and I saw Laura Lynn making the Red Robins. So I was like, well, I think I can do that. I'm to that level now. So I sat down and made one and I was like, oh, that'd be neat if I could face one this way, one this way. So I turned the pattern over and drew it. And then I made everything backwards.
That is so cool. I love that.
It was
red birds were my favorite because we're a huge cardinal family. My husband's from St. Louis and we just have like a tie to the cardinal. So I was like, that's a great quilt. There's 2 of them on there. So I loved it. Congratulations.
That was a fun one though. I didn't realize it when I signed on for it. And from out there where the judging was, I didn't know my husband was doing the video behind me. I had no clue. And so everybody gets to see the babbling baby. So I sent her that video because I sent her the picture when it was finished and I sent it to Laura Lynn because anybody that had their hand in that, I wanted them to, this is on you, and they're on the tag listed as pattern by this one, pattern by this one, because you give credit where credit's due. If they wouldn't have taught it, I'd have never known it.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah. So that was one of my life lessons. I've held you up. Let me see.
Austin came down here with the kiddos because you said earlier, hey, come on down. So if you want him to come say hi with Lily.
Yeah, bring him on.
Hey, Addie, come here. Addie, do you have a shirt on? He likes to be a man. He calls it being a man. So we make sure. Okay, come on, bud. Do you want to come say hi? All right, say hi to all of our quilty friends.
They like to see mommy on TV.
Hi.
Hi, darling. How are you?
Look.
Do you want to say hi?
Look.
Play-Doh.
Oh my goodness, Play-Doh is my favorite.
I'm
I'm
from
from Jelly Belly.
We got it from Walmart.
Oh my goodness.
Hey, yours
Get 'em from Walmart.
This is
Oh,
the day.
Walmart. What a beautiful family. Hi, Austin. Thanks for letting her join me tonight. I know it took away from family time. But beautiful kiddos.
Thank you so
They are
much.
darling.
Thank you. All right, let's go over here. Say bye.
Bye.
Say bye.
Bye.
Oh, there you go.
We love you too, sweetheart. You are such a doll baby.
He makes fun of me. Addington does. He'll always go, hi, it's Beth from Goody Goods. He'll like walk around and do that to embarrass me. I'm like, stop it, you silly head. He's so funny.
That's too cute. Everybody's telling you you're beautiful kiddos.
Thank you.
Hi, buddy. They're telling him hi. And Austin, they're thanking him also for joining. It's nice to have that good family support.
Yeah.
So I wanted to thank my moderators one more time tonight. Beth, thank you for coming on with me. I greatly appreciate the time. I love that we're both doing interviews.
Yeah, it's amazing. And I really enjoy your questions, and they're ones that make people think. So you had me on the spot on some of them. I was like, oh, blah, 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 blah.
I didn't mean to by any means.
I had a great time.
Thank you, sweetheart. And next week on the 13th, everyone, I'll have Tiffany of Tiffany's Quilting Life. Colleen, my moderator, will be on with a pre-recorded video of a moderator's point of view. And that's going to be really informative. I'll be out of town, but that's going to upload while I'm away. And then Kathy of Kathy's Cute Creations, she'll be on with me on the 27th. I also want to give a little plug here. We're doing a really cool project. I'm joined up with Stephanie Stitches and Kathy of Kathy's Cute Creation for a special project. It's going to be for a charity. So we're going to technically kick that off this Saturday at 5:00 p.m. on Stephanie's channel. So you're going to want to make sure you go there. Then you're going to also want to make sure that you hop over to Kathy's Cute Creation, because every one of us is going to be dropping tidbits.
Oh, that's cool.
And then we're going to kick this off full force on the 27th during her live. As soon as I'm done her Q&A, we're going to kick this off big time. So it's going to involve you all. We're going to bring everybody into this project. So we're hoping it'll turn out like we're praying it does. It's going to be a lot of fun. So Beth, make sure you tune in for that, because you can do that. So Colleen, Melissa, Stephanie, Sassy Stephanie, and Courtney, I love you guys. Kim, you're fabulous. I thank you guys from the bottom of my heart for joining me. Without yous, we couldn't do what we do, and you keep us safe. So I'll catch y'all later in the next live. I've got to piggyback and hop on because I got some good news I want to share, but I didn't want to clip it in your video. So if you get
Thank
time,
you.
Beth, hop back on.
Awesome. Thank you so much. I'll everyone set your ring bells for notifications too.
Oh, I
help.
forgot about that. Let's do that. Thumbs up if you like the content. Please check and make sure you're subscribed. If you like the content that we all share, ring that bell for notifications for each and every time we go live. Together we sew, guys. Together we grow. And for my channel, everything comes together one stitch at a time from beginning to end. So we appreciate you all. Thanks, guys, and have a great night. Bye, Beth. Enjoy your
Bye.
family.
You too. You have a wonderful night.
You too, honey.
Okay, these are all.